Kenny about technology gifts for kids. How are you?
Yes,
first of all,
fine, thank you.
Listen, Wilder was with FedEx this morning. He's going, they're shipping all these presents. A lot of those presents are technology-based presents. Is there such an age, first of all, that is too young to gift or to have a child use like the screens, the touch screens and all that?
Well, if you go by the Canadian Pediatric Society, they talk about any child under the age of 2 really should have severely restricted, if not absent of screen time. Because it's not just a question of the child not developing other senses, which they're not when they're doing screen time, but it is a stimulant, which can be too much for you to handle. That's why a lot of people say you shouldn't be doing screen time, even adults, before you try to go to sleep.
Right.
Because it will keep you overstimulated and you won't be able to relax and turn your brain
off. That's
off.
why I can't sleep. No,
that's true.
Well, it's true. And we were just talking about this during the break. I saw it in an airport not too long ago. There was a stroller with a built-in iPad carrier, and the iPad was about this close to the baby's. The baby, I say space. As adults, we have a hard time putting the machines down. What, in your opinion, would be the effect of starting the kids off too soon?
Well, that's two of the problems. There is the portability of it and the addictability of it. So an iPad is now, or a tablet is even more portable than a laptop is. So it's even easier to bring somewhere. So you'll get your kid a tablet and tell them, okay, but it's only for, and you'll lay down the rules. But then it becomes a fight because it's so easy to bring in the car and so easy to bring to a friend's house. And as far as addictability goes, it becomes a babysitter, and it is easy for you to let them play on it than it is while you're making supper and doing all the other things. What's another hour? What's another half an hour?
Rather than interacting with them yourself because you're busy. So, okay, so those are the cons. Are there any positive sort of sides to having technology for children? And at what age do you recommend starting all of that?
Well, even a lot of elementary schools now, there's some elementary schools that are requiring families to get iPads because there are applications for them. There are educational applications. It is the new technology, so it's a little fuddy-duddy to say, no, it's you stay away from it, stay away. They're going to grow up with it. They're going to grow up with it anyway, and at some point they do have to become familiar with it. Their peers have it as well. So they become included in that crowd and they can associate and relate to their peers. Also, for the families themselves, I mean, when the family gets an iPad or an Xbox, the whole family gets an iPad or an Xbox.
Yeah.
But you really have to tone it down. There was a neurological study done that says you have up until about the age of 17 to work on your brain's elasticity. That means exposing it to different emotions and elements like sports, art, music, socialization, and the more you spend time doing repetitive motions on the screen, the less time you're spending doing all those other things, kind of like nutrition.
Yeah, well, the brain is actually still developing, very much developing in those teenage years. So I guess is the takeaway, try to push it at least towards educational technology?
First, always with parenting, I always say follow your gut.
Yeah.
If you're not sure about it, don't be afraid to say no. That's one. 2 is don't be afraid to set the rules right away and follow through. Because if you say, okay, only an hour a day or an hour every 2 days, and then you slack on that, getting that back 6 months later, forget about it, you've lost.
Impossible.
And 3 is also shop around, because what is trendy might also be the most expensive items on the market.
Aha.
And often, if you go on the factory websites themselves, you can get refurbished items that come with a guarantee, and you can also find a tablet that might not cost you the $800, but one that'll cost you $400.
And remember, the holidays are always more pleasant when your children aren't like this, and this would be... This would be the screen. Kenny Bodanis, happy holidays. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next year.
All right.
All right, stay tuned. Coming up in 2-3